So support beam, first thing you want to do, I want to delete all the faces. Let's close this. I want to delete all the faces from the bottom because the bottom goes on the ground, so you won't see it. So I want to open it. So I'll delete all these faces. And then on this one, I'll do an automatic wrapping. And if you select shells, you can see this is one shell. This is the other shell from the other side. Then we have the back part. And then we have all these separated. But I want these all in one piece. So this is the top part. Then I'll come here, select the edge, 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 edge. And see why it's important to have the texture borders seen, because in here in the mesh you see where the cuts are. Select that, and then move and sew. And now I have this whole strip as one. And this one is the top one. And the top one can go either here or in the back. It doesn't matter because you barely see it. So I'll just put it in the front as well. And this one is done. Precise select. Then I'll bring this one, which is not done. Select. And this one, same thing. Delete the bottom faces. Delete history right away. And then automatic mapping for this one. That's one piece. It's another piece. And then we have a couple more. We have the two sides. And then we have all these. We have this middle part. And you can see it's flipped. So I can rotate it how it's actually going. And then move and sew, move and sew. It rotated back again. And then move and sew. So now if I select the shell, it's all this except these parts on the bottom, and we know it's here. So select the edge, move and select. So we have the front part, and we want also this one and this one, or we can just attach it to these. Actually, yes, I'll attach it to these. There you go. And there you go. So one of the sides, doesn't matter which side. And then the back part, same thing. Grab the back part and start sewing all the edges. Top, top, and top. Now we have this whole piece, this whole piece, this, and this. And now we have this as well unwrapped. Let's go with the next one. Stone wall, which we did. We did this one. We haven't done the arc. And the door frame, we haven't done none of these. So let's start with the stone arc. Stone arc, same thing, automatic mapping. And then you get your two arcs and then all the extra pieces. So we want the ones in the inside as one and the one in the outside as one. And same thing, I don't want these faces on the bottom because you don't see them. So now all we want to do is grab this shell, this shell, and this shell. So we know all these go together. There you go. There's the one, and then the other one is here. Delete the history. That one is done. Bring the other door. Door frame, isolate, select. Same thing. Delete this one. Delete this one. Automatic mapping. Grab this one. This one. And this one. So now one piece, another piece. Delete the history, and then the last one is the door. And this is the door, and the door is same process. Delete the faces on the bottom. You don't need them. Automatic wrapping, and this one is simpler because this one is just the outside. And now that we have everything already UV'd, we'll select everything. And you can see everything here. So now you can go start moving pieces out. Like so. That way I don't have that clutter in the middle. So we have all these and the walls. Move the walls down here. Let's move these down here. Move things up here. Move these down here. Right here. Select, let's see which one are. All right, so now that we don't have a lot of stacking, so now we have different things that we could do. Since we don't have a lot of pieces, we could try to put these all in the same UV sheet. So we could do two things. We could have the walls as one piece and everything else. The walls in one UV sheet, basically one texture, and then we can have all the rest on another sheet. Let's see how everything fits together. Let's grab first. Let's grab one of these faces and get the UV space, the UV texel space, and move it out of the way. Then marquee select everything except that one and set. That will set everything to the proper size that we need. And then we can grab all the shells and come down to arrange layout and shift click on layout so that we can get the layout options. And we're gonna reset. Packing resolution, I'll bump it up to 512 because that's the minimum resolution that I want. We're going to actually create 2K maps for all our meshes. So creating it low means that when you create your texture, when you high res, you get more detail on the texture, but the spacing are gonna be the same. So I'll put this as 512. Padding, I want 5 pixels in between. Shells, and then I want everything the same. If you press rotate shells, it'll just rotate to accommodate. And then pack together, non-overlapping, because we don't want overlaps. And then apply. And you see that all our meshes fit in the 0 to 1 sheet. But there's still space up here to put more stuff. So this is the door. The door, I wanted more high res. So the way I like to do, press Ctrl Z. There's stack similar. You can stack similar UVs, and it'll do this type of shells. And this is fine if you want to do different things, but let's do it again. Let's get these. So now what I want to do is, we know the door is too small, so we'll select the door. See, the door is too small. So what I want is grab the door and increase the texel size a little bit. And then what I do is, what I want to do with this is grab everything and now rearrange so that I can fit these in. And move things out of the way. So you can move things so that you can have more space for the rest of your UVs that you want more detail on. And this, I think the problem I'm running into is because we put this UV and the amount of assets we have, the padding is too big. So you can see there's a lot of padding in between. So let's put 2 pixels instead. Now you can see we have better distribution and more packing with more texel density. And if you see, everything is almost the same texel density. So now all I want to do is, all this is UV'd. I'll delete the history, and also I'll freeze transformation again. And I want to know which one is the one that has the scale value, because there's one mesh that has scale value 5, and is the roof beam. This one we need to modify freeze transformation. Okay, so now I'll select everything to make sure freeze transformation, and that's that. And now these are the meshes that we're gonna export to texture. So what I like to do is group them, and this is going to be my main group of meshes. So I write modular pieces, large modular pieces, and then I'll duplicate all those and hide the original one, and this I name it exploded. And the reason I named this exploded is because now with these I just moved them out of the way. And the reason I'm moving them out of the way like I am right now is because when you are texturing and you're trying to bake something, you don't want them in the same space, because when Substance tries to bake a texture on your mesh, for example, the AO, the ambient occlusion, if you have two meshes stacked like these, you're gonna get a shadow on your roof, like there's a mesh intersecting. So you don't want that. You want clean bakes. So what you need is just to, this is called the exploded view, where you basically move all your meshes to different locations so that you can see them, but they're not, that you can bake them properly but not overlap them. So you can move them wherever you want, just as long as they don't touch each other. Like so. So now that we have all these assets, this part, now I'm going to export. So I'll save the file. And now what I want to do is grab the whole thing and export selection. Now I want to export my files, and I'll name this large modular pieces exploded. That way I know those are the exploded parts. So now we're done with the Maya part. Most of the time I leave Maya open so that when I import into Substance, if there's an error, I can just fix it and grab the exploded view again and re-export it. And that's how I go back and forth between the programs. And on the next video, we're going to show you how to import the file and start working on Substance.